All right. Let's see what's going on. First and foremost, let's see if we got news. All right. No news today. Pending home sales at 10 a.m. First and foremost, pending home sales. Let's see if so 10 a.m. news, pending home sales, orange folder. We'll see. All right. We are below VWAP. See, let's go on to some higher time frames here. Kind of analyze this. I will mark out the first 5-minute range. There's that first 5-minute candle just printed, so I'll mark that out just for so I could see it, what that range is. All right, there's the top. And there's the low. Now, hourly chart, we are tapping off the 200 on the hourly chart. Pretty decent reversal off the 200, so I mean, pretty big reaction off the 200, which makes sense why we're bouncing where we are right there. So that's something to keep in mind. 15-minute chart. We're going to be tapping into the 200 on the 15-minute chart soon. If this starts displacing above, if this starts displacing above 777 level and, you know, starts gaining the momentum, then we may turn bullish here. Right now, we're currently in pretty bearish sentiment. We're below VWAP, so we're tapping right into VWAP right now. So let me go on the 1-minute chart real quick. We're tapping into VWAP right now. So this 777 level right here is VWAP. See what it does here. If this starts really displacing above VWAP and gets a strong reaction up, let me actually, where's pre-market highs are pretty decently up there. They're around that 25,890 level. So wow, we're getting a lot of buying pressure starting to step in. So right now what I would want to see is let's see if I need some structure to start to form, right? Maybe a pullback back into VWAP, form some kind of structure, break out of that structure, and then we can do like a break and retest. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Did you hear anything about the bank that was liquidated in silver shorts last night? No, I didn't hear that. What happened? Some bank was liquidated? No, I didn't hear anything about that. I know silver's been ripping, but I mean, I'll look it up. Hold on. While I wait, I might as well see what's going on. Why would you short silver? Why would you do that? They are keeping the bank name disclosed, but allegedly it's JP Morgan. JP Morgan, dang. The thing about banks, a bank will like really never go under, because like, especially a massive bank, it will never go under. The government will always bail them out. So, but why? I don't get why you would want to short silver. I mean, it's been ripping to all-time high. Like, why would you want to short that? Like, you're just asking to get... I mean, if you even look at... If you look at... I wish I could show you, but if you really even look at silver... the silver chart, like the 6-month chart or the year-to-date chart, it is just an uptrend. It's a constant uptrend. Whether you look at it on the monthly time frame, uptrend. 6-month time frame, uptrend. Year-to-date time frame, uptrend. 1 year uptrend. 5-year uptrend. Like, every time frame pretty much you look at it is an uptrend. So why would you want to short that? Why not just wait for a pullback so you could just, I don't know. I guess maybe they have some, I don't know. Makes no sense to me though. That supports a theory ahead. Institutions don't use stop losses when they trade. No, I think they do. I think they do use stop losses because, I mean, they got risk managers, right? Obviously, like, a liquidation, no bank wants a liquidation. So, but I guess at the same time, they know they're going to be bailed out, if anything. But it still doesn't look good on, like, from the investor standpoint, when you have investors and stuff like that, and you're in a position that got liquidated, that's a very bad sign. You can cause, like, you know, a bunch of investors to start taking money out and start getting scared, and it can cause this, like, a snowball effect of people starting to pull money out, and it just gets ugly. So no bank wants to get liquidated, regardless of even if the government's going to bail them out. It is, like, not a good spot to be in from the standpoint of how investors are going to view you now. I mean, put yourself in the shoes. I would be freaking scared if I had a bunch of money in a bank and all of a sudden the bank just got liquidated. I mean, I would be scared, especially if I had a lot of money in there. I would probably want to take it out and put it somewhere else. But all right, we're still just let me pull up my phone real quick. Still waiting here. What I pretty much want to see, we're trying to hold view up here. View up is pretty much right where that pivot point is. It's right on top of that pivot point, the S2 pivot point right there. I need to figure out how to get view up on this chart. Ugh. I would short the bank that was liquidated with all that money I had if I knew the name. Yeah, yeah. It's I guess they're not releasing it for privacy standpoint. So in that case, investors probably don't even know. Think about it. I mean, that's why. That's probably why they don't want to release the name. Is because when they release the name, then the investors are going to start to panic that are with that bank. So they're trying to keep it secret so that investors don't panic. Yeah, and their stock would tank, and it would just be like I said, it would be a snowball effect. It would be bad news, would cause that ticker, the bank ticker or whatever, to crash, And then you would have investors pulling money out, which would cause it to crash even more, and just it would be like a nasty, which obviously they don't want that to happen. But yeah, that's pretty wild. Pretty bad. I mean, maybe somebody got fired for that. They forgot to play. Imagine an institution getting into a position and forgetting to cancel like let's say you got filled like and then you forgot to cancel like a order that was still in the books, and you got filled. I'm sure that wouldn't happen with an institution because you have so much I'm sure they have so much security measures. Which that's what doesn't make sense to me. And you got risk managers, you got all sorts of like computers and to protect you. But even computers screw up. Like there was that bank, I forgot. No, it wasn't a bank. It was a hedge fund actually. And they had lost, I think, like over $100 million in a span of like a very short period because their bot, their algorithm like started glitching out. And they were trying to shut it down, and by the time they shut it down, they had lost like a whole bunch of money. So even like even you think of hedge funds, right? Even their algos and their bots, it's the same thing. They could glitch, they can crash. That's why they have people like pretty much 24/7 monitoring, you know, the algo. I was gonna enter a buy. Wasn't looking for the rejection I wanted. Yeah, I'm waiting for a better confirmation here. We're pulling back. Like I want to buy, but I need that confirmation. Maybe, honestly, maybe I'm thinking. So we've dipped right below VWAP, right? So if this thing right now can hold that 5-minute range, hold it as support. Buyers start stepping back in, and if we break out, like displace above this 25,818 level, if we start displacing and looking like we're running for pre-market highs up there, then I would potentially wait for the displacement and then wait for a pullback. I just need a displacement and a reaction off a major level, so that I can get the best odds of getting a good trade in, right? I don't want to just blindly just try to buy right here. We've dipped below VWAP. Like, me trying to blindly buy right here is going to be kind of, you know. I need more confirmation that this thing... Oh, by the way, Apex, if you haven't heard, Apex is 90% off. So, Apex is having a crazy sale right now. This is the time to kind of load up on accounts if that's something you were waiting to do and waiting for that sale. Let me see how long they're gonna have that sale for. 8 days. Wow. So they're gonna have 90% off for 8 days, so you have some time. Like, this is as good as it gets, 90% off. I mean, their accounts are like dirt cheap. But be careful also. Don't just like, don't scale a bunch of accounts and think that you're just gonna magically, like, you know, if you're somebody who keeps blowing accounts left and right, then scaling a bunch of accounts is not going to be the smart option, because you're just going to blow a bunch of scale accounts that you're copy trading. So I'm just saying, be careful. Don't put yourself in a position where... Just made 900 on that short. Nice. How do I log into my account and trade with Apex? I mean, you gotta log into Apex. You gotta buy accounts, and then you add it to your brokerage. They give you a password and like a login. You add it to your brokerage. It enables a connection, and then you'll see that you're connected. And then you're able to place trades on your brokerage. You don't place trades directly on Apex. You place trades on like a brokerage like Ninja Trader or some other brokerage. And they give you the login credentials to enter into that brokerage to be able to establish that connection. But the bias is bearish. It's flipping right now. I'm very like, so right now we're below view op. So my rule for this now is I'm not shorting above view op, and I'm not longing below view op. So we're right below view op. I'm not longing this. That's just like a rule. That's a good rule to have to protect yourself, first of all, from just stupid trades. Second of all, you're protecting yourself because you're going with momentum. When we're below view op and you're only looking for shorts, confirmation for shorts, you're with momentum, because that's the general market sentiment. If you're looking on lower time frames, that will be this general sentiment. When we're below view op, we're in bearish territory. That means sellers are in control when we're below view op. When we're above it, buyers have gained control. And then when you pair that with confirmations, you just put yourself in a way better spot. First of all, to not take stupid trades. Second of all, to go with the trend and not go against the trend. Oh, I just got an account. All right, yeah, if you got an account on Apex, you'll see that they're going to be, you should have like, not your Apex credit login, but you'll have your like brokerage login. You should see it somewhere in there. And it'll give you the password, the username and password. And like, for example, I don't know other brokerages, but Ninja Trader, I go into connections and you're able to add that password, the username and password, and then you put apply, and then it establishes that connection. And I see like a little green button that says I'm connected. And if you have trouble, I think Apex has videos on how to do it. Also, you can go on YouTube. YouTube has a bunch of videos on how to do that. So it's pretty easy. So it's not too difficult. Oh, make sure if you, whether you're doing Tradevate, whether you're using Tradevate or you're using Rhythmic, make sure you sign the user agreement, because if you don't sign that user agreement and you put in your credentials, it's not going to establish the connection. You're not going to be able to get a connection. You have to first sign the agreement. And you do that by logging into Rhythmic or logging into Tradevate, and you'll see that agreement, and you have to sign everything, and then you could put in your username. And because I made that mistake one time, I'm like, why isn't it connecting? And I forgot I didn't sign the agreement. All right. See if it can hold this 5-minute range. So far, we're just kind of... We failed to displace above. Still kind of below view op, below. We maybe we're just gonna go lower. Who knows? We'll watch it. We'll watch it. We do have. I mean, we do have room to the downside. Again, I'm still trying to wait for a better. Now maybe we'll see if this thing pushes up to view up. I need some kind of structure to form. I can't just go off of this. Like, I need something to get me. Bunch of liquidity on untested highs. Yeah, this thing can go. I mean, this thing can go either way. This could be a pullback just to continue running. My market is delayed a bit, but I didn't see that we broke structure. You should have real-time data if you're using like prop firms. If anything, before going long, they're going to test the liquidity. Yeah, that's another thing that's likely. Yeah, you have to kind of weigh every option and put yourself in the best spot. I mean, this thing could be going for the lows again to take out the lows one more time to continue running up. A lot of times we do get a reversal at 10 a.m., so this could be setting itself up for that reversal at 10 a.m. Who knows? Well, I guess we'll just wait and see. I use wealth charts. Oh, okay. Yeah, most brokerages are pretty easy to get everything set up. Is it worth to buy a plan on TradingView? It's so annoying that my market is just delayed. Why is I don't get why your market's delayed. You don't have to. If you're trading with prop firms, you should not have delayed data. Maybe you didn't sign the agreement or something. Like, you should have real-time data. You should not have to pay for any kind of like extra thing. When you sign up with a prop firm and they give you a code, you should have real-time data. Like, I'm looking at my chart right now. I have real-time data, and I'm looking at an actual brokerage account, not a prop firm account. So something is wrong if your data is delayed. You have to buy CME market data. Well, why do you? I don't get why you have to buy it. You're talking about, so I mean, maybe it's for talking about just for TradingView. To be able to have real-time data on TradingView, you have to buy. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, that kind of sucks. I wouldn't. I mean, you have your actual brokerage. Like, you should have a. If you're having to pay for it, it's not really worth it, because you can get it. You're paying for something you could get for free on another platform. Like, I don't have to pay for it. It's included with the prop firm, you know, with the plan. I mean, it's up to you if you really want to use trade. Like, if you really, it's up to you. But I use NinjaTrader. Oh, I just got it so I could use real-time data with the indicators. Yeah, and there's a way to link. If you, I think somebody said there's a way to link TradingView to like NinjaTrader and other platforms. But I have another chart with Thinkorswim back when I used to trade options. So I had made a brokerage account with them a long time ago when I traded options, and I still have that account, and I still have real-time data that I don't have to pay for. So I just keep that up, and I kind of use that for like, the only thing I have on that chart that I don't have here is VWAP. That's pretty much it. Everything else I have. So I just keep it up just to kind of see. Also, when it's a good thing to have, because sometimes like Rhythmic or Tradeovate, like it'll be lagging. Sometimes if something will happen where it lags, and you want to be able to see that it's lagging and not place a trade, because I've done that before. I've placed a trade, and then like I'm immediately like in drawdown, in crazy drawdown. I'm like, what the? How am I in drawdown that much? And then it ended up being because it was lagging, and I took a trade and it executed me on the actual data, and it just got all screwed up. So I have the other chart that has actual data, so I'll be able to see if something is lagging. All right, let's see what it does here. If it's going to hold this as support or... Ninja has its own site to trade on, but if you use others, you have to pay. Dang, that's wild. I didn't know you had to pay with TradingView to get real-time data. I mean, I guess it depends on how you trade and what you like. I just trade price action, so for me, I just need brokerage wise, I just need a simple. I don't need a bunch of indicators. I don't need I just trade price action and the charts. That's it. Indicators aren't really. If you're someone who's trying to find the magical indicator that's gonna make you profitable, trust me, it's not gonna happen. There's no indicator out there. Don't get caught up in. A lot of beginners do that. A lot of beginners get caught up in the noise of indicators, and they think that there's some magical indicator that they can use that's gonna tell them exactly when to buy and they're gonna be profitable. It doesn't exist. So focus on how price moves, focus on price action, all that, and not so much indicators. VWAP is probably one of the best indicators to use to get the market sentiment in the 200. I have a few pivot points, but I don't use them to trade off of. I just use them as gauges, right? As areas of price could potentially have a rejection from there. And the reason indicators work, some indicators work is because a lot of people use them. ViewOp works so well, it's because everyone uses ViewOp, right? So if you're trying to find an indicator that barely anybody uses, it's not gonna work. The fact that the reason certain indicators do work is because everyone uses them. That's why. Well, what do you think about the 5-minute closure? I mean, right now we're yeah, it's a nasty rejection too, but we're at an area where we could bounce too, right? This previous area of resistance can turn into support again. So this is an area you got to be careful with, right? Because we could get a bounce here. We could very likely get a bounce here. So this is an area where buyers are probably going to start trying to step in. Now, are they going to succeed and take this all the way back up? I don't know. But you'll see some form of buying pressure probably start to step in right there. In this area, in that area. So I pay TradingView 7. Dang, really? Seems like a steep. It seems like a lot. I don't know. For me, it's just like, it seems like a lot for something that you could get for free. It's just like, well, you know, that I don't have to pay that. Oh, if they have a 21, yeah, if they have like a $21, that's not bad. Maybe he has, yeah, I guess they have different plans. If you're using different stuff, then they have more expensive ones and cheaper ones, so. He's paying for extra live data plan is less than 20. Oh, so they probably make you pay for different, like, different types of connections. If you have multiple connections or different datas. If you're like if you're like trying to do one market, then it's a lot cheaper than trying to do multiple tickers or whatever. I don't know. But like, you know, Thinkorswim or whatever, like Thinkorswim does not make you pay for data. It's you get real-time data for free. Markets are shit today. Yeah, they are kind of whack. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still waiting. Yeah, it is kind of There's still hope though. There's still hope. It's 10 o'clock, so there's still hope. It's fine. I mean, listen. My job is to come in and you know, be patient and wait for something good to form. If that doesn't happen, well then, it is what it is. I can't force a trade just to, you know, just to take a trade. Oh, the data's like 7. Yeah, if it's like super cheap, then okay, that's not bad. Then it's probably worth it. Are we seriously gonna start chopping? We better not. I'm telling you, we better not start chopping here. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. More options you have, then it becomes more advanced and you have to pay more. Most people don't need advanced options. Most people, like, just trade one thing. Don't try to trade multiple things and try to get caught in the noise. See, now it's starting to form some kind of structure, but the problem is we got VWAP right above it. So I can't long, like if it breaks out of this structure here, I can't long it, right? I have to unless it breaks out of that structure and fails to take, like it's going for the high, but it fails to take out the high, gets a little pullback into VWAP, then I can kind of. We'll see, though. We'll just play it by. I was hoping that would be the liquidity sweep. Yeah, it may still happen. It looks like it's wanting to possibly go for those lows. It's pretty weak. You know, this also may be something possibly, we'll see. It may want to go for those lows. Maybe I'll take a small position size where this is also some structure forming here. I don't want to get caught. The problem is I don't want to get caught in a reversal. So if I do like short this, I don't want to get caught and chopped. That's the problem. It's just the risk to reward doesn't really make sense on this short. Like my stops would have to be way up here, and then me targeting like the lows down there. I don't know. It's I have to have live data plus gold. Gold costs more. Yeah, so typically they're probably one of those like they'll charge you for any little thing that you want. Like the initial data, live market data is pretty cheap, but then when you want to start adding more stuff, the more stuff you want to add, the more expensive it gets. Which, I mean, it makes sense. It's a good This thing looks like it wants to keep dumping. Here, give me a second. I'll be back in a second. All right. Man, the problem with this is like I may this may be interesting to go for the lows possibly. I may play it here. I just don't want to get caught in a reversal. Like it could reverse here. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. It doesn't that risk to reward does not make. I was thinking to go. It broke this structure here, right? It broke this structure, so I was thinking about getting a retracement back down. But the problem is I'm trying to short at support. Not the smartest thing to do because it could easily, you know, tap right into this pivot point and then reject and then I get stopped out for a stupid trade. It's just the risk to reward does not make sense on that trade. The fact that we're already at an area where we could have support and we could start bouncing. So, just not the smartest trade. I would rather wait for a better setup. Maybe if it breaks these highs up here and gives me a better risk to reward. Like, even if I go for these lows, it's still, you know, not, it's what, 20? It's not even a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Me having to have my stops above these highs up here. So the risk to reward is just garbage at this point. Even though I know it could probably go for the lows. There's a likelihood. But it's just not worth the risk to reward. Honestly, I'm just going to wait for it to bounce off of 657s. 650s. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a... If it takes out those lows down there and then buyer starts stepping back in and you get a confirmation to go long. This is the problem with this area right here is you don't know if it's going to take out those lows or it's going to bounce right before taking out those lows and make kind of like a double bottom. we just problem is we've already sold off so much, right? We've sold off so much, so there's a likelihood of bounces coming up soon. I'm just waiting for that reversal. Yeah, you may want to wait for that confirmation. I wouldn't mind a long if we get confirmation, but for me, I would have to get above VWAP. That's the only thing is like, and VWAP is at what 765 level right now, which is, you know, it's like all the way up here. So I would need it to get above VWAP. So you can see that was a good short setup. Right? I actually would have gotten filled, but again, that's just that risk to reward. I don't know, man. Ugh. Like, see, now we're at a pivot point. Now we could bounce here. And what I have taken that trade and just like, for what? For 10, 20, 30 points? Makes no sense. I'm going to risk. That would be like, what? That wouldn't even be a 1-to-1. So it's just, yeah. They're just showing their hand at this point. I'm just waiting for the, yeah. This is just a tough area right now because we could get a reversal here. Or we could continue dropping. That's also a possibility. I mean, we do have room to the downside. That's the thing. If you look on a higher time frame, let's see if we could see it on the hourly chart. Right, we're at that 200 on the hourly chart. And we do have lows down there at like 608 level. So we do have a little bit of room to the downside. Dang, looks like I should have taken that short. This thing looks like it wants to keep going down. See, this is the kind of stuff I look for. If this was this was a little bit higher and the risk or reward was better. But this is the kind of stuff I look for, right? Support. Then it broke support. You can even see the candle when it broke. This candle broke, right? It kept selling off, came up, retested this level, this wick right here, retested that level as resistance, and then made continued making a move back down. No way they just traded all the way out of that huge dip just to go back. Yeah. It's almost like a trap. Tell me that's not a trap. Like, just absolutely just rockets to the upside and then just tanks to the downside. It gives everything back like pretty much immediately. It's like a fake out. It pushed above VWAP, looking super bullish, and then just like completely just took a... Looking back, honestly, this was honestly not a bad short right here. I don't know why I didn't see this. I guess I was just scared of this rip. But this is kind of looking, I mean, this is all obviously hindsight, but you can see this is another form of structure that formed that when it broke. And the fact that it broke with so much force, another, you know, similar thing. This is why I say if you're a beginner, the best thing to learn, in my opinion, is break and retests. Break and retests are like, even this right here. I honestly, I don't know why I didn't see this right here. But you have, right, you have this support forming. You see all these buyers start to step in right here. You have all these wicks right here. And then look when it breaks with so much force, comes back up, and you can see even this imbalance right here. It taps into that imbalance. This becomes resistance now that it broke. Taps back in, becomes resistance, and goes back down. So even these lows, it's a 1-to-1, right? If your entry is, you're risking, say, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90. You're risking $90 per contract, and then your TP would also be 20, 40, 60, 90 down here. So pretty much a 1-to-1 if you go for those lows again. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't see that. I didn't realize, I guess. Could have made 1.5K, but I didn't want to feel that reversal. I think this pump just freaked me out right here. I think that's the main reason why I wasn't looking for a short, because at this area right here. That pump, but I should have, looking back, hindsight, obviously 2020, I should have seen this break. This broke with so much force. Like this one candle is just, and then. But we also have the 200 down there, which also, you know, could be an area of support. So that's. See, I told you, be careful. Buyers could start stepping in here. We took out one level. We took out one low down there. Not both of these lows, but just we took out just this one right here. And now we're getting a move back up. Now we'll see if I don't know if this 7-11 area is gonna hold as resistance. I'm in long, man. It's gotta break this 7-11 level with you know, not hold it as resistance, because if it holds this area as resistance, then we could start going back down. But if we could break it, we can at least go for those highs up there. That 741 level. But we also have, you know, we also have the 200 right there. So there's just, you know, some areas that it has to get through. How often does Apex update data on the back end from wealth charts? What do you mean? What do you mean by update data? Apex, I don't know what you mean by update data. My balance isn't updating? Huh. Wealth charts that's a third. Wealth charts isn't owned by Apex, is it? It's a different. No, it's not. It's a different yeah, it's just a different so that's not Apex's. Wealth charts is a separate thing, so that's something that but Apex updates their data. Apex updates their data on their dashboard. I think at midnight, every day at midnight, they update their data. But you should be able to Like with my Rhythmic accounts, I'm able to go in my Rhythmic account and see the actual, like, what I actually... But something is, yeah, something is off, because it should be updated like right away on your actual dashboard. You should be able to see like your P&L and everything. Because Apex and wealth charts are two separate things. So, like, if wealth charts isn't updating, then it could be something with wealth charts, not Apex. So we are getting, you're seeing sellers are starting to come in. So this is an area I said where sellers are probably going to try to step in, but can they hold it? That's the question. Yeah, I know Apex updates their data like on their dashboard. It's midnight every night, every day at midnight. They update their like dashboard thing. If so, I passed the eval already. Yeah, if you pass the eval, just stop trading. If there's another short setup, I mean, I'll take it if the risk to reward on it is good. I would take a short as long as this thing sets itself up and is below VWAP and structure sets itself up like it wants to continue going down, then you know, it'd be something I'd be interested in. But you take live copy trades? Yes, I do. Right now, I'm currently copy trading 8 accounts. Seven funded accounts and 1 evaluation I'm trying to pass. Da 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 da. See, I just have to wait for something good to pop up, right? It's just a moment of time. I have to catch that little moment in time where I'm like, I'm sure you've seen that before, where it's just like, man, this looks really good. Like, this setup is amazing. Like, wow, this is a decent trade. $100 million buy. Don't get liquidated. In long again? You must be a breakout trader if you're in long again. We're at this 200, so it's got to get through this 200 level to be able to. It did break. You see, sellers try to step in at that like 711 level. It broke that. Now we could go for those highs possibly, but again, there's probably going to be some resistance at the 200 too. I want those London highs at least before I lock out for the day. It is possible. I mean, we got room. We technically got room for the highs. We do have room for the highs. Will it do it though? Will it do it? Also, it's pushing up to, it's coming up to VWAP now. If it breaks, starting to break this 200. Next area is that VWAP area. I mean, we got some decent amount of levels. 816. Yeah, it's got room. I mean, it could definitely, you could see, I mean, it broke even, you know, it had this trend on down. It's broken that trend. You see that trend line down there. It broke that trend, so it has room to take out all these levels and go for the highs again. But like I said, it's got some levels to get through. It's got this 200. It's got a view up here. It's got a pivot point. So the way I see it is the more levels price has to get through, I mean, the more likely it could reverse, or it could chop, or it could, you know. Versus if 200 wasn't there, view op wasn't there, all these like massive levels weren't there, you can get like a straight shot to that level. But you got areas where buyers are starting to try to aggressively step in, and then. But this thing is still, you know, still looking good for the upside. It's just my rule, right? I don't long below view op, so that's a rule I have, so I can't take a long down here. I can't. Because if I start trying to, if I was to remove that rule, do not long, like, yes, I would get like so much more trades. You know, even like this breakout right here and retest, and like there's so much more trades to take, but like then I'm just have a bunch of noise, right? I have more likelihood to take stupid trades, to overtrade. So I need to put limitations on myself to be able to put myself in the right position to. Because trust me, I've done that before, where I've just kept like trying to like below view op, trying to long below view op, and just kept getting wrecked and wrecked and wrecked because I was going against momentum. So that's why I kind of made that rule is do not long below view op, just to protect myself. $900 and climbing, nice. Be careful if you're trading a prop firm account though, that if it has trailing drawdown, you don't want to be 900 in profit and then go back to break even, because that drawdown trails if you're on certain prop firms. I mean that profit, I said drawdown, profit. Again, for those who didn't know, Apex is having a 90% off sale. So, if that's something you were waiting on. What's the code? You could use, I would appreciate it if you use my code. You don't have to. TUZ. All caps. If you put TUZ, it'll give you 90% off. All right. Come on, NASDAQ. We're pushing up to that view op area now. Man. All right. starting to reject off that view op. Now, I would potentially maybe try to take a short somewhere if it could form, like, if it could have a pullback, right? If the price could reject off a view op, have a pullback, start going back up again, maybe take out the high or fail to take out the high, and then go back down and break that structure of the leg down, that would be I would definitely be interested in that. So I'm not opposed to a short, and I'm also not opposed to a long, but it's got to give me the right setup. Because if this thing technically breaks out of view op, then it's pretty much in bullish territory, and it probably is going to go for those highs. So if it can give me some form of structure without taking out those highs first, and I see price wants to go for those highs, well, then I'll set myself up to, you know, go for those highs. What's your view op setting? It's all whatever. I don't think you should change any view op settings. Whatever the stock settings are for view op, that's what I have. I don't change any settings, because once you the reason an indicator works is because a lot of people use that indicator, right? So when you even take something like view op and you start to tweak the settings, and now your view op is different from everyone else's view op, then it just becomes more, it doesn't work as well as if you would have just not changed any settings. So I don't think you should change any settings. All right. Coming up on that 10:30 mark too, so. This thing, like, if I get a setup, I may, let me see. I may even take this on a little bit lighter size, just because the room to the downside so much. Crap. Hold on. Give me a second. Also, keep in mind, 10:30 mark, I mean, I've seen, you know, NASDAQ have reversals at 10:30, so that's another thing to be careful about. How many contracts? I mean, I don't need a lot of contracts because I'm copy trading. I'm copy trading, what, 11? Or, sorry, not 11. Freaking A. 8 accounts. So sometimes if I'm like a little iffy on a trade, I'll go lighter size. So if normally I'm risking $200 per trade, I'll maybe risk $100 per trade. Just based on how confident I am. We are tapping into view ops, so I'm looking at if we can get like a displacement below and show signs of weakness. And sometimes, right, I'll, you know, size lower if I have more room to the downside. If it's like a 1 to 2 risk to reward and it's a pretty good trade, I could size down just because I don't need to take aggressive, you know. Or trying to. Hopefully this isn't chop. Ugh, gosh. Ugh. That's the beauty about copy trading is you really don't need you've essentially you've spread your risk across multiple accounts. So I can risk $200 per trade, right? And in the terms of me having a $2,400 drawdown and I risk $200 per trade, you could see how many losses it would take for me to blow up an account, right? Like it would take me 10 losses to blow up an account, even more on some. So, and when you're doing 8 accounts, that's, you know, 1,600. Technically, you're only risking 200 per trade on account, but you're making $1,600 per trade, technically. Take 2 good trades a day and you've made, what, 3,200 bucks or so? Versus trying to go super aggressive on one account and then blowing it in one trade because you're so over leveraged. We shall see. Still opportunity. There's still hope. There's still hope. It's 10:34. Starting to try to push above UOP now. Or oh boy. Oh boy. Is this thing going for the highs? Is this thing going for the highs? Possibly. I may take a light position here. If I may want to go, I think it wants to. Broken above VWAP. We're at that pivot point though. You see, I'll maybe be interested in this now. We're above VWAP, so we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna be entering a small position. Don't copy me, please. You will get wrecked. I think this is maybe not a bad small size, just because the structure doesn't look very promising, but willing to take it. Definitely willing to take it. It's got possibility, you know. Now, if this thing starts breaking below VWAP, it starts looking. Right, it starts looking ugly. I would probably have my stop down here. Stop down there, so I'm risking what, 10, 20, 30, about 40 point, or sorry, is it? Yeah, 10, 20, 30, so let's just do this. 10, 20, 30, about 40 points, so 10, 20, 30, 40. Now, I'll just do probably like a quick 1-to-1. Not gonna get. I just think we have room. We have room for the upside. As long as this thing can hold VWAP, that's the. So I'm giving it room. We shall see. I did enter light position size just because the structure is not super promising. That's the only thing that kind of worries me is the structure's. It's not as good as when we had here, right? You see how strong this structure is right there? That's a very strong structure. This is just like a weak, you know, it could hold, but it also could fail. Yeah, it looks like it's failing. Golly, bruh. All right, we need to hold this 200 here. We got to hold the 200. We got to start showing buying pressure start to step back in. Because it's not looking good. We're below VWAP, so I don't like that. We've pretty much rejected off that pivot point, which I knew... Also, I knew could be a risk too. Also, a reason why I went lighter size on this, because that pivot point was right there. I understood. This is why I have these indicators, is because I understand that we could get rejections off them. So we pretty much need to hold this 200 and start ripping above. Once we could break this pivot point, I think we'd be looking pretty good. Let's see if buyers start to step in here. We also got this, I mean, I could technically, here's what I'll do. 20, 90, 100. Nah, I'll keep it there. Whatever. I'll keep it there. I was gonna say maybe my TP to the highs and move my stop a little lower. Will give me a better, but maybe I should do that, because I feel like if it's gonna rip up there, I feel like it's gonna go for those highs. So that would be, 20. So that's like 120 risk per trade if that's the highs, and then I have 20, 70, 80, 90. So yeah, that would make it, that would mean that I can move my stop for the lows, which would be, this would be a 1-to-1 if I target the highs. Yeah, so that's pretty much a 1-to-1 if I have my TP at the highs, which I do feel like if it goes for those highs, I think it's gonna, like if it breaks this pivot, I think is a high likelihood it goes for those highs. So might as well move my TP for the highs. We'll see. Trying to give us some room to breathe. Seeing if buyers can start to step in here. Nope, sellers are. We gotta hold this 200 now. Come on. Rip it. Hold it. Hold it. Good morning. How's it today? It's going pretty good. It's going pretty good. Market's moving. And sellers are pretty aggressive. I ain't gonna lie, sellers are pretty aggressive. Every time we get like a pop up, sellers just immediately take over. Which is not too good of a sign. I hate when that happens. We have to hold this 200 now. If there's any sign. Hold above the 200. Once we start breaking the view op and pivot point, I think we're looking pretty good. All right, tapping back into view op. Need buyers. Keep it going, buyers. Keep it going, buyers. Keep it going. Keep it going. I'm in short. Tapped into a 5-minute FEG. Is there? Let me see. 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 All right. Yeah. Talking about that 5-minute. Yeah. I mean, I see why. I mean, if it inverses that 5-minute, then it's like, be careful. If you're in a short and it starts inversing the 5-minute, it's kind of a a red flag. Come on, it needs to get above view up for me. It needs to get above it. Can the buyers do it? For the new year. For the new year. We need Trump to say something. We need Trump to say something. Something positive. Gold for every American. Free gold. Gosh, imagine having the power to just say a word and the market just rips. That's wild. And Trump knows that. He has, like, his words have so much power. All he has to do is just say one word, and like the market will just absolutely rip to the upside. Or tank to the downside. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, it's not looking good. I needed to get above that view up and it failed. Yeah, freaking NASDAQ. As long as we're looking good, as long as we keep holding this 200. It starts to look ugly once we start breaking that 200 and start displacing below. Then we're kind of getting into territory where probably gonna get stopped out. But as long as we stay above this 200, and especially if we start breaking VWAP, breaking that pivot, oh boy, it starts looking good. Is this the 1 to 3 year Treasury ETF? No, this is just NASDAQ. NQ. No! No! Don't push down! This is where it also makes it like a riskier play, the fact that we're at VWAP. Because you don't know. When you kind of longing or shorting at VWAP, I mean, it could flip at any moment. Like right now we're in bearish territory, so it's kind of against me. Versus if when you're already displaced above VWAP or displaced below VWAP, you kind of already have this sentiment. We're in bullish territory, so you're waiting for that setup for a long. But when we're at VWAP, it could flip at any point, and then you're like, crap. If you're long and now it flipped back below VWAP, it starts looking bad. So, part of the reason that it's something that, you know, if you're not too confident, you either stay out of the trade or you go in half size. Do not go in full size on a trade where you're like, oh crap, this thing could, you know, I'm not too confident in this. Like the earlier trade, I was willing to go in full size, but the risk to reward just wasn't worth it. But the structure was very strong. Yeah, it's just starting to look ugly. Go lie. Oh boy. This is starting to look ugly. Yeah, freaking VWAP. That rejection off of VWAP. I thought it was gonna. I thought it was a possibility of it continuing to go for those highs, but I guess it had different plans. It's alright. It's only $100 loss. It's like literally half size, so. Yeah, I guess they don't. There's still hope. Now it looks like if they go for those lows, then I'm getting stopped out. There's nothing I can do about it. My only hope is that they maybe take out one of these levels and then rip it back up. I mean, what are we looking on higher time frames? Is there any like? I mean, we are tapping into a bullish gap now, right? We're rejected off a bearish gap. Now we're tapping into a bullish gap. So, but I mean, is it going to hold this bullish gap? Is the question. Or is it going to just tank? Or is it going to tank? Looks like it's going to tank. Ya bastards. Ya freaking bastards. I want to slap a market maker. Just joking. It's a joke. Alright. Bummer. Man. It's alright. It's alright. There's the stop. So. Oh boy. It's alright. Down 120 bucks. It's fine. Yeah, that structure wasn't strong, and that's why I wasn't too confident in that. Golly, bruh. I said be careful. It's that 1030 mark, man. That 1030 mark, you get reversals. F the market. Yeah, this is oh my gosh, I swear, if this is a telemarketer. Hello? Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tomorrow? Yeah, just get. It was the market makers calling to apologize for that. You know what I should have done? I should have had a really tight stop. I'm thinking that's what I should have done on that trade, because I knew, like when we're at VWAP, like that flip, man. Like it was promising when it pushed above VWAP like that. I figured we could possibly just take a quick, pullback to continue going up. I should have had my stop very tight, because I knew once we get below VWAP, that's going to be technically, we're in bearish territory when we get below VWAP. So was really not worth holding through all that. looking back in hindsight. So maybe next time if I'll have a tighter stop, just because I think it this way, right? I think it's better to have a tighter stop and lose a little bit of money, and then possibly if it shows, you know, if let's say I got long right there when I got long for a possible to continuation up. If I had my stop like pretty tight and I got stopped out for a very, very small loss, right? I save myself so much money if it continues going down. But if this thing continues, if it breaks back up, then I can always, you know, I can re-enter, and if it confirms it again. It's all right. We made what was that? I was up 300 something. Dead. I took 2 good trades on Friday, so I was up around 330 bucks on Friday, and then I gave back 120 bucks of that 330 today. So it's not bad. That's the whole part of trading. It's if you can make 300 bucks one day, and then you come in the next day and you only lose 120 bucks, and then the next day you come in and you make 200 bucks, well, that's how you continue to grow. But you can't make 300 on Friday and then lose 600 today. It doesn't work that way. You're not going to be profitable doing that. But if you come in, make 300 on Friday and only lose 100 bucks, and then the next day you come in and you can, if you catch a good trade and you make 200, it just puts you back up. With all respect, you do trading so insecure. What do you mean insecure? How do I do it insecure? I literally, before entering that trade, I said I'm going half size because this is not the best, like, this is not the strongest confirmation. Earlier, this, look at this structure for a short. The only reason I didn't take that was because of the risk to reward. Me having to have my stops way up here and then TPs would be like right there somewhere. It just would not make sense for the risk to reward. But that structure, I would have went in full size on this structure. You can see the difference between this structure and this structure. How this structure just does not look as good. It's just not really a promising structure. And we were at VWAP, so I understood the risk was a lot higher. So it's exactly why I didn't go in $200 for full position size, but I only risked 100 bucks. That's called smart trading. And if you hear a lot of professional traders will tell you they do dynamic risk management. They don't risk the same amount necessarily on every single trade. And that's I guess that's something you gain with experience that you have, where you're just not as confident in something, so you just stay out of it. You either stay out of it or you size down a lot. One of the two. But it's not insecure trading. I'm taking the trade. It's not like any trade that I take, I understand the risk that I'm putting on the table. Yeah. Tight stop losses are not good either. So it's like obviously in hindsight, I'm looking at this from the standpoint of because I took a short at VWAP, right? Me taking a short right at VWAP, like when it pushed up to, so it broke VWAP, I was looking for the retracement back into VWAP for the continuation. The fact that it pushed above VWAP then failed, right? And I think in that sense, you can have a tight stop because a lot of times what you'll see is, right, when it fails VWAP, it'll go to one direction. It'll start displacing below it if it fails it. So you get that displacement to one direction. So I think in that scenario, it's not the worst to have a tight stop loss because you're at an area where you could chop. You know, we could get a displacement back up and you're just protecting yourself. So if I take a small loss, I can always re-enter back and protect myself from like a big drop like this. But then you got to look at it too. Sometimes, and my rules are two losses and I'm out for the day, right? If I take 2 losses in a row, that's it. I'm out. But yeah, tight stop losses aren't necessarily good. I mean, you have to allow price to breathe, right? If you have a target, you need to have a stop loss where it makes sense. You gotta allow price to breathe, because if you don't, you're just gonna get stopped out and it's gonna go to your TP, and it's like, well, it went to your TP, you just didn't allow it enough room to breathe. He thinks being secure is entering full size on a risky trade. At the end of the day, you risk what you're willing to lose. That's it. I mean, it's as simple as that. Honestly, I don't even know how you could be. How could you be insecure in trading? Like, what does that even mean? That would technically mean you're scared to take trades. That's what being insecure in trading would technically mean. That you're insecure about your strategy, so you're scared to take a trade on your strategy because you're insecure. You're over analyzing, you're doing all this, like, that's technically what insecure means in trading. I'm back in short. It's not a bad short. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good resistance area now that we've pulled up, because you kind of figure sellers are going to try to step in here. So it's not a bad short area. You just got to be careful if this thing starts breaking structure here and starts displacing back up. It could start wanting to go for those highs again, maybe. But we are below view op, so you're in, as long as you're below view op, you're going with the trend, as long as price is below view op. Sellers are in control right now, not buyers. Your opinion on... I don't have any opinions because I only trade NASDAQ. Alright, I think I gotta go soon. Do you analyze pre-market? No, I go off of whatever. I do look at higher time frames when I first start trading in the morning, but I just look at price action on like smaller time frames. And you gotta see what price has to go through. Like, even you see all these gaps right here. Price is going to have a hard time getting through all this area. Not only do you have 1 gap, 2 gap, 3 gap, but you also have this structure right here that was previous support. So you have so much to get through to be able to go for those highs again. So you gotta look at it in terms of how much levels or things does price have to get through to get to my TP. The more levels and things it has to go through, the higher likelihood that trade is not going to work out versus a trade that just goes straight, Like, you even look at this dump right here, right? Once it broke below this support, that's when I was like, oh crap, this is not looking good. Because you look at it from the standpoint of, and you see how fast it displaced, right? Because there's no gaps. Look, there's really not much for price to get through to get to at least these lows down there. So when price doesn't have much levels to get through, you see how aggressive it goes there. And then You see it bounced off this last imbalance right here. It pretty much bounced off it, and then we're getting a move back up. But now to the upside, we have 1 imbalance, 2 imbalance, 3 imbalance, and all this resistance up here. So price is gonna have a, you know, fairly hard time getting to those highs because of all these levels here. All that resistance that's gonna be holding it down. So, yeah, that wasn't a bad short. If it gets to 25,659. Well, 25,659, you got to be careful, right? The lower we go down there, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either price is going to come down here and take out the low one more time, take out either this first low or the second low one time, and then start displacing back up, or it displaces aggressively, and you really, there's no way of knowing, right? There's no way of knowing until you actually wait for it to happen. Either it sweeps it and then moves back up, or it displaces below it and then holds as resistance to continue going down. So it's pretty much, you know, a couple things that could happen. Or it could just chop down here. And that's kind of why you would want to wait for confirmations. Like what people technically would want to short, people would, you know, wait for a... This is a massive level, so if it breaks, that could hold now. If it displaces below that level, it could pop back up and hold this big level as resistance then. But the closer we get to that low, the closer we get to an area where we could bounce again. It's like you look at it in terms of probabilities. The closer we get to this low, right, the probability starts growing that we could take a bounce. Like if you took a short right here, right? Let's say, hypothetically say you took a short. You take a short and you see price start moving down, 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 down. And it's like the closer it gets down here to this low, that probability that it's going to bounce starts growing, right? There's a higher and higher and higher likelihood that you're going to get a bounce. Because you're getting to an area where sellers are where the people who are shorting are gonna start taking profits, and the people who are looking for longs down there are gonna start longing. And you're just getting into a natural area where buyers are probably gonna start stepping in. I appreciate the follow. Thank you for the likes and follows. But I think I may be calling it a day today. Just one trade. Can come back tomorrow. And, you know, see what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow's a fresh day. We got, what, a couple more days in the, couple more days in the year. So, looking to end off the year good and then come back in for the new year and start trading again, and you know, yeah, this thing is looking weak. And you see this time and time again. You see how it breaks structure, comes back and retests it as resistance. Even this tiny structure like gets retested, but it obviously is a lower probability. You don't take every little tiny little, you know, because like this one broke, right? So you can't just take every single little one. That's why I wait for the big ones, like the bigger structures to form, so that they're higher probability. Because it's like, you think about it, when something bounces one time, it bounces another time, and then breaks. The more bounces it has off an area and then breaks, then the more likelihood that area is gonna hold as resistance to some extent. And we had a gap right there too. So there was a, if you look on the 5-minute chart, there's a bullish gap that it's kind of bouncing off of. I was hoping to. This last one right here, it's kind of holding. It inversed it, but it's holding down here. And you can see, based off of previous history, look how much buyers stepped in. This is wild. Yeah, this wick right here, buyers, buyers, buyers. So they're really defending this level down here, like pretty aggressively. 671 next stop. Yeah, I mean that's likely. It could take out these lows down here. It does have room. I mean, right now I look at it, it's more bearish, right? We're below view op, so it's more bearish than bullish. So market sentiment is still bearish. So if you're shorting, you're going with momentum. You're not going against momentum. So, but that being said, I'm gonna hop off. It's been an hour and a half. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Hopefully get another good day of trading, but appreciate you guys for stopping by. And yeah, y'all have a good day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.